Good morning, students. So, today we will be reading from the central nervous system as we have already completed what are the types of the nervous system in the offline class. So, first of all, we have already discussed just a little bit of recap that the total nervous system is divided into three parts. The first part is the central nervous system, next one autonomic nervous system, and the last one peripheral nervous system, or basically the peripheral nervous system in the second part and the last one autonomic nervous system. So now today's topic is the central nervous system. That means the main controller of our full body. The central part of the full body or the central controller of the full body is termed as central nervous system. Now if I come to the central nervous system, the central nervous system is divided into two parts. The first part is the brain and the second part is the spinal cord. So we will read or we will start from the first part, that is the brain. As we all know, the cranium, within the cranium our brain is been enclosed, or if we go for a simple language, within the skull, that is the bone of our head, the skull bone, the brain is protected in our head. Now the brain is the main controller, or the brain is the main thing which is controlling our full body. That means the total movement of our body is being controlled by the brain. Now the first thing that we have to learn, that what are the parts of the brain and how the things are being working each and every day in our daily life. Now first, if I go for the brain is totally divided into three parts. The first one is the forebrain, midbrain, and the last one hindbrain. So brain composed of three parts. The first part is the forebrain, in the middle there is the midbrain, and in the back there is the hindbrain. Now in the forebrain, again there are three parts that is given in your book. The first one is the cerebral cortex, okay, which is given in your book. I am describing that only, the cerebral cortex. The second one is the thalamus, and the third one is the hypothalamus. So these are the parts of the forebrain that is being present in our each and everyone's body, okay, brain. Now the first part, if I come to the forebrain's first part, the cerebral cortex, you have to remember two things in this part: the location and the function. Basically, more important is the function of the each parts, okay. Now for coming to the first part, that is cerebral cortex, see I have written already, it is located just below the meninges. Now what is meninges? See, our brain, each and every organ of our body is protected by a covering so that it does not get the shocks from the outside, so that it can prevent the shocks from outside. So the first, what I said, meninges. Now what is meninges? The brain is also covered by a layered, three-layered membrane. That is termed as meninges, okay. So the brain and spinal cord, both brain and spinal cord is covered by a three-layered membrane known as meninges. Behind that meninges only, that means beneath that meninges, this you will find this cerebral cortex in the forebrain part, okay. Now what is the function? See, function is your main functions: vision, because we know with the help of the eye we are seeing, vision, hearing, taste, that we see all the sense organs part. So eye, ear, and then tongue, these are all sense organ parts. So the main sensory functions of our body is being controlled by the cerebral cortex. And with that also there is another thing, that is intelligence and memory. That means how much memory, cerebral cortex is controlling the intelligence, or how much intelligent we are, or how much capability of memory is there in our brain. That is being determined by the cerebral cortex, okay. Now the next thing that we are coming is thalamus. It is present above the midbrain. So in the after the forebrain there is midbrain. So above that midbrain the thalamus is present. Now again, what are the functions? These are the this is basically functioning as for to sense the pain, whatever pain we are getting. Suppose for example you got hurt by something, so that pain, any type of you just get close to a hot water, so that type of sensations, so that things, pain, touch. And the most important thing is relay center for sensory and motor neuron. That means whatever we have read in the neuron part, that sensory neurons are controlling all the sense organs of our body, and motor neuron is coming from the brain, which is controlling all the other functions of the nervous system. So now this thing, that is the thalamus, is relay center. That means it is the part from where the sensory neurons are transforming to the brain, and from where the brain is taking the message and giving return back to the message to the motor neuron. That relay center is the thalamus. Okay. After that, the third part, that is hypothalamus, again it is located present below the thalamus. That means behind the thalamus you will find the hypothalamus. Okay. Now we have as we have come to the mid part of the chapter, we have already read hypothalamus has hormonal functions also. That means many hormones are being produced from the hypothalamus, which are controlling the pituitary gland. Now that we have already read. Now location we have read. Function, laugh. That means we are laughing, listening to a topic or listening to any type of words. If we are laughing, that is controlled by the hypothalamus. Fear, cry, hunger, thirst, sleep. So that means our basic things that we are doing in our daily life is being controlled by the different parts of the brain. That means we are totally controlled. If we are having some sensation, if we are having some that kind of mind that we have to laugh or we have to cry, whatever the things are going on in our mind is being all controlled by the brain. Okay. So these are the parts of the forebrain that I have described. Now in midbrain there is no part given in your book, but basically there are parts which you will read if you further go to the science stream in biology. You will read the other parts of the midbrain also. Next I am coming to the hindbrain, that is the third part of the brain. So let me write and then I will describe you. Now, as we can see that in the hindbrain, again there are three parts. The first part is the pons, the second part is the cerebellum, and the third part is the medulla oblongata. Now coming to the first part, that is the pons, it is located in front of the cerebellum. That means we are seeing that pons, cerebellum, medulla oblongata. So in front of the cerebellum, the pons is situated. Now, if I come to the function, respiration, that means we are doing continuous breathing, and after that the total process of respiration is going on. We have read in class 9 what is respiration and what all the chemical processes related to it. So respiration is being controlled. After that, secretion of saliva, that means when your saliva will be secreted or when not, that is being controlled by this pons. For example, if I say you, if you are going in from front of a fuchka stall, automatically your saliva will be secreted, your mouth will get watered. That control or that thing will be controlled by the pons. Okay. Now, micturition, that is a new term for you. Now, what is micturition? That means we all know that urine is produced in our body, and that urine is stored in the urinary bladder. After the urinary bladder is filled, we get a message from the brain that yes, we have to go for the toilet and we have to go for the washroom to clear it out. But what is that thing? What is that control? That control is being done by this pons, that the urinary bladder is filled and you have to clear it out. So that thing is being controlled by the pons of the hindbrain, and that is termed as micturition. Okay. Next, if I come to the cerebellum, we have read in the lower classes also that our body posture and our body equilibrium is being controlled by the cerebellum. That means if we are standing straight right now, I am standing straight right now, if anyone is standing straight right now, that is being controlled by cerebellum and our ear. So ear is maintaining the balance, that is the part of the sense organ. But coming to the brain, the cerebellum is the main controller for our posture and for our equilibrium of the body. Now it is located behind the pons. And muscular contraction. What is muscular contraction? Whenever we are moving our hand or we are moving our leg, whatever we are doing, our muscle is being contracted at that time. That total contraction is being controlled by the cerebellum. Okay. The last one that is given, medulla oblongata. Now medulla oblongata will be present above the spinal cord. That means this is the connection zone between the brain and the spinal cord. Okay, that connection zone is termed as medulla oblongata. Now function, again it is acting as a relay center of the sensory and the motor neurons. heart rate also it is controlling, and saliva secretion. Now these are the functions of the medulla oblongata. Now if I come to the parts of the brain, the that is given in your book, we have completed all the parts, that is the forebrain parts, midbrain it is given as it is, and the hindbrain parts. Okay. Now the brain and the spinal cord is both acting in our body as a central nervous system. So if I come to the spinal cord now, the spinal cord is the total nerve bundles or the nerve fibers that is being connected from the brain through the vertebral column. Okay, that means the spinal cord is present within it is a bundle of nerve fibers. See, it is given in your book that cylindrical structure which is continuation of the medulla oblongata is called spinal cord. That means these are all the parts of the brain, and that part of the brain it is being ended, and from that part the spinal cord is started. That means the medulla oblongata is finished, and from that part the spinal cord is started. So spinal cord is also the part of the nervous system only. Now if you can see in your book it is given, it acts as a nerve center for different reflex actions. Now reflex actions will be the next topic for today that we will read, but reflex actions will be controlled by the spinal cord. We will read that down. Next, if I come to the next point, that is it also helps to control central muscle tone, diameter of the blood vessels. That means during the high blood pressure or low blood pressure, whatever the thing is there, the contraction of the blood vessels, that means either the blood vessels, the diameter will be increased or decreased, that is totally controlled by the spinal cord. Okay. And on the next page you will find two things, that is meninges, which I have already told, and another one is CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid. Now what is cerebrospinal fluid? If this is the brain, suppose this is the brain and this is the covering of the brain, in between that there is a fluid filled. Okay, that is filled up of a fluid. That fluid is termed as CSF, that is cerebrospinal fluid. Now what is its function? Same function, it is acting as a shock absorber. Okay, so it is acting, any type of shock is absorbed by this type of fluids present over the brain and the spinal cord. So with this, the total part of the brain that is given in your book is completed. So our next topic will be reflex action and what is the things of the reflex action. Now if I come to the reflex action, see, it is very simple thing that we have to learn about reflex action. See, each and everything I am saying that it is being controlled by the brain, but there are some sudden involuntary actions of our body. Sudden involuntary means that means we are not prepared for it. All of a sudden it just happened to our body. Then that function or then that thing is controlled by our spinal cord instead of the brain, because we already learned that spinal cord is also a part of the nervous system, central nervous system. So that means when a sudden function, when a sudden shock or sudden involuntary action is being controlled by the spinal cord of our body, that time that action is termed as reflex action. Okay. For example, all of a sudden we just touched a hot object. Okay. For example, a vessel is there which is very hot. You just touch it. You immediately remove your hand. That sudden removal of the hand is being controlled by the spinal cord, and that is termed as reflex action. Okay. Now if I come to the process that how it is working. So first of all, receptor. We have already read that receptor is the part from where the stimulus or from where the sense will be received. Okay. So receptor will receive the sense from outside of our environment. That receptor will transfer the total message to the sensory neuron. As we all know that sensory neuron take all the messages to the brain and the spinal cord. So receptor will receive, it will transfer it to the sensory neuron. The sensory neuron will go to the spinal cord. Now instead of that message going to the brain, because we don't have that much time to respond for that, the spinal cord will itself function. The spinal cord will itself function and give a message to the motor neuron. Okay, as motor neuron is controlling, taking the messages from the brain to the different parts of the body. So that message will be carried by the motor neuron and the effect will be done by our body. Effect means that the effect will be done by our body. So that means immediately when you are touching a hot object, you are removing your hand. So that means that you are touching that hot object that has been received by your fingers, that sensation is being transferred to the sensory neuron. It went to the spinal cord immediately sent the message through the motor neuron. It came as the effect, and you remove your hand. Now what is the effect? Your muscle is being contracted and you are just removing your hand. Okay, so this total action takes a very less time for working, and that's why this total thing is termed as reflex action. Now in your book you can find that there are two types of reflex action. You can see that there are two types of reflex action, and this has been defined by Pavlov, the scientist. Now the first one is inborn or hereditary reflexes. Now, and the second one is conditioned or acquired reflexes. Now inborn or hereditary. Now inborn or hereditary means some things are inborn in our body. That means that actions are not being controlled, or that we are not understanding, or we are not learning that. We are acquiring or we are adopting it from our very basic day that we are born. So that is inborn. For example, blinking of eye. We are blinking our eyes continuously. Continuously we are blinking. Without our sense or with our sense, we are continuously blinking our eye. Now this thing is totally a reflex action. Now you are not controlling. So when we play a game that we will not blink our eye, that is a game when we are playing, and during that time you all have seen that if we are doing that, automatically tears come out, because that is not a part of the total process of our body. So blinking of eye, okay, so blinking of eye is an example of a inborn reflex action. That means from the childhood only, or from the first born day or first born hour of the child will blink. Okay, so this is inborn. That means this is, we are carrying it from the first part of our lifetime. Okay, next if we take another one example, automatically closing of the eyelids. That means if you just keep a direct light on your eyes will automatically close. So we don't have to make you learn that. Your body will automatically receive that, and your body will automatically function for that. Understand? So these are inborn. That means we are not adopting it. We are already habituated with it from the first day. Now if acquired, the next one, that is the conditioned or acquired reflex action. That means if any type of action that we are understanding, that we are learning after the things we are understanding, then that will be termed as conditioned. For example, secretion of saliva. A child when passes I'm taking an example. A child when passes from a fuchka stall, he or she will not get saliva in her or his mouth. But when the child will be tasted with the taste of the fuchka, that time after the child passes from the fuchka stall, automatically the child's saliva will be secreted. So that means that we have adopted, until and unless the child did not know the taste of the fuchka, they will not get the taste of the thing, and their brain will their reflex action will not work, they will not get the saliva. But as soon as they learn the taste, the reflex action will work, and the child will automatically get the saliva in the mouth. Okay, so that means this is conditioned, this we are learning. Okay, so reflex action two types. One is conditioned, that we are learning, in our continuous things, and another one is inborn, that we are not learning, that is already present in our body. So on basis of this, Pavlov did an experiment. So as I have already explained, that Pavlov only proved that there are two types of reflexes. So Pavlov did an experiment with a dog. Now what type of experiment he did? See, you can see in the book, in your page number 27, I hope it is 27 for all of you. Now in the experiment, what happened? Pavlov did what? Pavlov start giving a dog food, okay, with the ring of a bell. That means he used to ring the bell and give the food to the dog. Okay, first few days he did this. Then after few days, what he did, he stopped giving the food, and instead of that he just rang the bell. Now what we can see, that whenever he used to ring the bell, the dog is automatically getting saliva in its mouth. So that means that is developed due to the condition reflex, because the dog had understood that okay, this is the time for the bell, so the bell will ring and I'll get the food. So that means that condition already has been developed in its brain or in its spinal cord, that yes, now it is the time for food. The bell is ringing, that means I'll get the food. So automatically that time the saliva is secreted. Now after few days, what he did, he stopped giving food also and he stopped ringing the bell also. What happened? After few days, he saw that the dog is not getting the saliva anymore. That means again he developed that okay, that person will not give me any more food or not ring the bell. That means I have to adjust with this thing only. So that means automatically the reflex has been what should I say, removed out from the body, and he developed another reflex that no food will be given to me from the next day. Okay, so that means condition. This is all condition. It is totally a procedure which I did, not I, which developed it by his experiment, to prove his experiment. Okay. Now the next topic that we are having, that is reflex arc. So I have already said, see, if you clearly see the picture, an arc is formed over here. Okay, an arc is formed. So that arc, if I say, so that total arc is termed as reflex action. So see, it is given the complete neural pathway involved in the phenomenon of reflex action. This is all neural pathway. Receptor is taking, receptor is receiving, sensory neuron is taking, after that motor neuron, and after that effector. So this totally is a neural pathway. So that neural pathway is in the form of an arc. So it is termed as reflex arc. So it is being written the different parts of the different things in your body, which I have already discussed, and different type of reflexes. Example given, blinking of eye, I have already explained. Next, coughing. Whenever any food gets stuck, your body will automatically cough. You will not wait, or you will not you will not wait for coughing, that okay, no, will not cough. No, that you cannot do. Automatically your reflex will work and your coughing will be started. And the last one, sneezing. Whenever any dust particles or anything enters to our nose, we sneeze itself only. That is again a reflex action. Okay. So up to this for today, that means the brain, reflex action and reflex arc. So if you are watching, if you are understanding, if there is any type of any question or any doubt, you can directly message me. I will respond to you immediately. Thank you.